A young woman stands at a crossroads. One way leads to a glittering mall, flashy banners, promises of success, a crowd rushing by. The other, a quiet forest path. No applause, no prize money, no likes. Yet something in her chest aches for that dusty trail. Why would anyone leave comfort and certainty to walk into the unknown? Why do some risk misunderstanding, mockery, even struggle just to follow something called dharma? Stay until the end, because this answer doesn't just challenge capitalism and communism. It may reveal the missing layer beneath our search for meaning, justice, and happiness. If you want more explanations like this, subscribe and hit like. Right now, you swim in an invisible story. One version shouts, maximize, produce, compete. You are what you achieve. Another whispers, equalize, share, erase difference. You are what the group needs. Both are loud. Both claim to fix the world. But what if there's a third path, older than economics, almost erased from modern conversation, yet the foundation of Sanatan Dharma? Capitalism reduces everything to a resource or a part of the value chain. People, nature, even time itself, all are measured by their price, their productivity, their place in the machinery of profit. Maximizing profits becomes the end goal, at any cost, giving rise to competition and innovation, yes, but also creating a system where the line between ambition and corruption blurs, unless laws step in to restrain excess. On the other side, communism promises fairness by sharing all resources. It sounds ideal, a world where no one is left behind. But in reality, the government is just a group of people, those with power, who decide for everyone. The dream of equality can turn into a new kind of oligarchy, power wrapped in the language of sharing but enforced from the top down. In practice, what began as a revolt against greed often ends up as control, censorship, and sometimes even dictatorship. Feminism, too, seeks a better world, equal rights and opportunities for women and men. But here, the idea of sameness can overlook the deep realities of difference. Biology and nature have made men and women fundamentally different in some ways. True equality means recognizing where opportunities should be the same and where nature calls for respect of difference. All these theories, capitalism, communism, feminism, try to fix a part of the human problem. But each is incomplete because each ignores context and the full complexity of life. Dharma is entirely different. It's not religion. It's not just duty or morality. Dharma is righteousness, ethics, responsibility, intention, and, most importantly, context woven together. In Sanatan Sanskriti, there's not even a word for religion as a separate thing. Instead, every choice, every action is measured not by rigid ideology, but by dharma. What is right for you, for others, for the moment, for the world. It's a living, breathing ethic. Many today think dharma just means do your duty. But that's only a fragment. Dharma asks, what is the right thing to do in this exact situation, guided by ethics, by intention, by your unique place? It's not a rule book, not a checklist. In the Vedic system, dharma is always contextual. What is right for a father may not be right for a son, a citizen, or a human. Sometimes, dharmas even collide. This is dharma sankat, a crisis where all choices seem right, yet conflict. So what happens if you live by rigid systems instead? Capitalism, left alone, rewards cleverness but breeds selfishness and isolation. Everything becomes a transaction. Communism, when enforced by a group in power, ends up punishing difference and, in real life, replaces one kind of oppression with another. Both break down if they ignore the human heart and the messy facts of life. History shows it again and again. Greed leads to exploitation, so people revolt for equality, but then new rulers create new chains. Feminism's call for justice is vital, but sameness isn't always justice. There are places for equal opportunity and places where biology or circumstance calls for different treatment. When any system says, one size fits all, it ends up harming someone. That's why every ideology, no matter how well-meaning, falls short. Dharma offers something else. Wise people of the past wrote the Dharma Shastras not as a fixed code, but as guidance. No book can predict every moment. Context rules. Like a judge seeking justice beyond the letter of the law, you are asked to sense what is truly right, here and now. Sometimes it means choosing between family and society, between your group and all of humanity. Dharma provides stories and examples, not formulas, for finding your way. When people forget Dharma, they have no higher compass. They follow convenience, group pressure, or raw self-interest. That's how capitalism slips into corruption and communism into control. The result? More adharma, unfairness, exploitation, discontent, and eventually collapse or revolt. No system, patriarchy, matriarchy, caste, gender, marriage, is absolutely right or wrong. The only real measure is Dharma alive? Are people acting with context, ethics, and honest intent? Or just blindly enforcing rules? Sanatan Dharma is universal because it adapts to every age. Whenever adharma rises, when any system becomes corrupt, when hate and oppression replace fairness, something moves to restore balance. Sometimes revolution, sometimes slow renewal. Adharma never lasts forever. So what actually happens when you live by dharma, not by the scripts of capitalism, communism, or any single ideology? You stop chasing popularity or profit for their own sake. You listen. You weigh each moment. You act, not out of compulsion or crowd pressure, but from an inner sense. What is right, here and now? Sometimes that means standing alone. Sometimes it means serving others in a way no system could script. The world urges you to hustle or to melt into the crowd. Rarely does it ask, what is truly right now? Dharma is not comfort nor chaos. It is the subtle, living law beneath all systems, the thread that ties life to meaning and justice. In the end, living by Dharma isn't about changing the whole world overnight. It's about changing your stance within it. Standing at the crossroads, feeling the quiet pull, and daring to choose what's right, even if it's invisible, even if you walk alone. The mall will always glitter. The forest will always whisper. Only you can hear which path is yours.